Hello everyone, welcome to Discovery Session 3. So in this session we'll be looking what are the types of discovery and why do we need to use discovery and how to actually start the discovery. So before diving directly into how discovery works and everything, why do we need a discovery? So suppose a company has CIs to keep is a big organization have multiple CIs or assets, and in order to keep a good track or to get to know about their status, so we need to use discovery. So discovery is designed to help avoiding data consistency and accuracy issues. It works so well using an reconciliation engine and identification and reconciliation engine to accurately map discovered data to CIs and prevent duplicate CIs. The actual definition of discovery and the true purpose is actually being said into the previous sessions. You can always go through it. So, what are the different types of discoveries we have? So, on the top high end, we have cloud discovery and cloud for the cloud discovery we need to install a plugin and we will look into this later. So cloud discovery is nothing but which collects metadata from APIs and cloud. And coming to the infrastructure discovery which is present inside a particular infrastructure of a company. So this is called as infrastructure discovery. So after let's quickly start how to start discovery. So in order to start, after you install a plugin which has been said in the previous sessions, you will get a module called discovery schedules. So discovery schedules, so for the recordings I'm just creating a new discovery schedule. So before that there is one more topic I need to tell you. So why are we using discovery schedule? Like what is the true purpose? What is the use of this module discovery schedule? Why? So basically, we create discovery schedule which runs on schedule basis because to fetch the latest data of the discovered guys. There is a reason for it. And for example, suppose you have discovered a laptop. You have discovered a laptop, and recently the laptop's RAM has been upgraded. So in order to fetch the latest CI information, we need to use discovery schedule. So discovery schedule, how it works and everything, we'll be looking forward. So in order to quickly create a new record, you just click new. Or if you want to test your discovery very quickly, you also have an option called quick discovery. And coming to the cloud discovery, we'll be looking into the further sessions, not now. So if you click on the cloud discovery, you'll be having have to enter two paths, that is your target IP, which you can get it from CMD using a command called ipconfig. You'll be getting your IP configurations and everything. And mid server, as we already discussed, how to install a mid server, and we seen in the previous sessions. After you select the IP address and your mid server, if you click on OK, the discover starts discovering. So the discovery schedule starts and discovery status. So you can see this. So we'll look into this later. Before that, we'll be coming to the how the new record and everything works. So yeah, so getting started. So name, you can give any name which you can use it for your particular organizations. For example, I'll be using personal or first discovery. Okay. So after this, in discover you have multiple options. For example, you can discover, you have to select the type of discovery you want to achieve. There are CIs, IP addresses, networks, cloud applications, serverless, and a lot of things. So right now we are looking only into CIs, and further networks and cloud applications and everything we'll be looking into further sessions if required. So coming to the CIs, after that mid server selection method, you just select uh, a specific mid server. You also have options like specific mid cluster or auto select mid server and everything. So mid server, we already have a mid server which is up. So I'll just quickly go and select my mid server. So that is this. So my mid server is selected. After that, there is a field called location. So location is nothing but if you select the location only in this particular location, for example, I'm just selecting India. So the discovery starts looking for CIs only in the location India. And max runtime is nothing but if this is a discovery schedule, right? So you just tell the discovery schedule like how many hours, for example, if the discovery schedule runs daily at a particular time, how many hours it needs to run. So you can, I'm for the testing, I'm just giving it as 3 hours. So, and just like the schedule job, we have run option. So you can select when the discovery needs to run. For now, I'm just selecting it as daily and at which time the discovery needs to run daily. So these are hours, minutes, and seconds. So every day at 1 p.m., the discovery needs to run daily for 3 hours continuously. So the discovery keeps on running for the 3 hours and it will fetch all the latest records and everything. And we also have Shazam batch size. Shazam batch size means nothing but the number of IP addresses that each Shazam server can scan through. Or you can also tell like how many devices can ServiceNow scan through Shazam things. So after that, you have Shazam cluster support. Shazam cluster support means so whenever if this is selected true, so that means it want to distribute Shazam processing among the servers. So we have a concept called as clustering. So the if the load balances are more on one server, the load will be passed to the next server. So for that, we will be using Shazam cluster support. And there's one more point to be covered over here. So the minimum batch size which you need to keep is 256. So there is a reason for that. So 256 because below the batch of 256, the batch could not be clustered. So minimum must be 256, and by default you'll be getting 1000. That means around 1000 batch size the Shazam server IP address that each Shazam server scans through. And once you configure each and everything, so you just click on submit. So your discovery schedule is done. You just configured when the discovery needs to run and everything. So this is my first discovery. So after that, we have one more different concept called discovery IP ranges. So we have created a discovery schedule. Like we have given the name, we have told which type of discovery is it and at which time, for how many hours, at which location, what are the credentials, we told how many Shazam batches and everything. But now, how will the discovery know that which IP should I scan? So for that, you just need to click on new and you just give uh, any name, for example, um, laptop IP, any name which suits it. And here you will get a starting IP. So you just need to enter. So basically, this starting IP and ending IP means you just give an IP for quickly. I'll show you config. So IPv4 address. Okay, this is my IP address, correct? So right now I'm just telling my discovery IP range to look only from one, only while testing. I'm just using it only for this desktop. So I'm just using only for this one. So I'm giving starting IP as well as ending IP same, because if I want some other IPs ranges, I can give it that. So it starts looking into that range. And after that, you just click on submit. After you click on submit, so So there's a small point which you need to remember for discovering any devices, Windows Server or any devices. ServiceNow needs to make some calls and to know what configurations of that particular CIs are. ServiceNow needs to log in and run commands in the background and run remotely, right? So suppose there is a instance, for example, this instance we have created one user with an admin access, and that admin has the access to all the files, right? So just like that, just a quick example, just like that, this discovery also has a network users who can be able to access any device which is present inside the network. So network will make a user specifically for discovery who will have access to all the machines. So if you got any kind of requirement of the discovery, you just need to have some prerequisites like the IP range. First of all, you need to know, because you just need to define from which IP to like the starting IP and the ending IP. And the second point is the credentials. Of course, you need to know the credentials. And the fourth one is the third one is mid server. And the fourth one is like you just need to know what type of device is present inside that particular IP. So just a quick note, every type of discovery can have different IDs and passwords. So we just need to keep a same ID and password could not be same for uh, multiple discoveries. So that's a point to be noted. So once this has been created, so we have one more. So in order to verify that the credentials are correct, so we have in if you type Windows, there is services. If you go into the services, you can find a mid server which is running. So if you go to ServiceNow mid server, you can see the ServiceNow mid server is running. If you click on the properties and there's a, if you click on login, so local system account. So this we can change and run this service using different account user ID and password. You can actually give the user ID and password so that it can be run. And if any kind of error sometime may if you find any kind of errors which are sometimes, now it is the status isn't running like most of the times, like very less times. If you find any kind of errors, then this everything will be, there is a table called uh, mid server, sorry, there is a table called services, IP services. Sorry. Yeah, there is a table called as discovery credential table. So I'll show you credential discovery credentials. So in this credentials, if you see, there is username and password. So you can also test your credential whether it is uh, working fine or not. Uh, so for this, we have a table in ServiceNow called discovery credentials tables. So it is a child of another table, credentials table. So after verifying the credentials and everything, we need to go to our discovery schedule again, our first discovery, and we have some related list called quick range as well as discovery now. So quick range is nothing but, suppose you got a requirement of multiple, around 1000 to 500 to 1000 different IPs. You can't go manually create each and every different IP ranges, right? So you just copy paste that and you just click. So ServiceNow automatically that discovers the IP ranges and does the proceedings. And you also have as discover now. So once you we can so if all the in order to start this discovery, you just need to click on discover now, start this schedule discovery now, instead on the schedule, just like the schedule job. If you guys remember, there is an option called as execute now. Instead of waiting for the particular time for the schedule to happen, the same case happens. Instead of waiting for this particular time, you just execute it right now to test whether it's working fine or not. So I'll be clicking on this discovery now, and the discovery starts working, you can see. So once the discovery has been worked, you can see the status of the discovery. If you come back to your discovery schedule, there is a discovery status. Uh, and inside discovery status, you can see, so it's an interesting topic here. Inside the discovery, you have your name, your description, and everything. You have logs, you have devices. So it has found one device, and there is this called ECCQ. So ECCQ is nothing but in ECCQ we have learned this topic before. You can refer to that. So now I'll be telling you what these are. So you can find WMI, SNMP, SSH, HTTP, WINS, DNS, SLP, a lot of things, right? So these are called as port probes. So yeah, these are called as port probes. So whatever you can see here, they are different port probes. So uh, these port probes, we have a table called as uh, this. I can show you port probe. So this is a port probe table. There are 15 port probes. There might be more. You can also create your own port probe. By default, like most commonly, we'll be using 4 port probes. For example, I'll be opening the WMI, and in the WMI, if you see, just an example. Uh, so before that, I wanted also to tell we have output, we have input, and we also have output. So for the outputs, output is just for your point to be noted. Output is sent through probe. Probe is nothing but a piece of code which collects the data about a device or a network, and input is received whenever it's about input. Input is received through sensor which collects the data which is being sent by the probe. So if I can quickly show you the output as well as input. In the output you can see, go to the probe. If you click on this thing, it will directly show you which probe is actually running for this. And if you click for the input, you will be having called as sensor. So it will be showing you the sensor which fetches the data which is sent from the probe. So yeah, uh, apart from that, yeah, port probe. So in port probe you have different fields. I'll be telling you, that's the name and the description. Scanner, that's just a normal thing. And CIs. So here we have two checkbox CIs. If the select box port probe, whether it is enabled, for example, the checkbox it is enabled or disabled for this, that means the discovery is enabled for discovering configuration items. Okay, so if this is checked, that means the discovery is enabled for discovering IP addresses. Okay, so this is the basic meaning. And the we have uh, triggered by services. It's nothing but which services define the port usage, and you have use classification, which means appropriate, which appropriate classification table. So, and the most interesting part is classification priority. So this, whatever you're seeing here, so yeah, you are seeing WMI in an order, right? The order of this can be configured in different table. I'll be telling you about that very soon or in the next session if required. But for now, according to the documentation, uh, there is an order. There is an order for each and every port probe that we have read about. So, for example, the first priority is always for WMI. So in the base system, the WMI probe is always launched first, and if it is successful, then no other port is launched for that device. And if WMI fails, there is one more uh, port probe called SSH. So yeah, this is the second priority. You can see this second priority. If the WMI fails, then SSH has been will be sent, and if even if the SSH has been failed, there is one more port probe called as SNMP, and if even if this is failed, there is one more called as uh, HTTP. Yeah, so these are in order You can check. SSH is the priority one, SNMP priority, uh, and yeah, it's like that. WMI. Let me show you the order. So it's WMI, SSH, SNMP, and HTTP. So the order, the classification priority can also be altered according to the requirement or the required requirement. So apart from this, what else we have? So yeah, we have one more table which is called as discovery classy windows. So for example, I'll be showing you two different things. So for example, if this discovery classy windows has a classification criteria. If this classification criteria, for example, is VIP equals to false and name starts with Windows 2003, this particular thing will be classified as Windows 2003 server. And the same follows for this. If these classification criteria goes true or according to the values which we have given, then it is classified as a particular classification. So we also have a ServiceNow pattern designer. I'll be telling about the pattern designer and some more things which are related to discovery in the next session. Thank you for now.